Hi there, I'm Letitia Pfinder, and welcome to the very first episode of what I'm calling Art Impressions. And it's just going to be a discussion type video where we talk about art related things, artistic things, and today I thought it was perfect to start off with inspiration. So today we're going to be talking about what inspires me, how you can get inspired, and how to rid or work through a creative block. So this was actually kind of inspired by a question that I was asked uh, around Inktober time, I think is when she asked it, by Val. And you might know Val. I did a collaboration with her not that long ago, and she asked this. She asked me where I get my inspiration from. And if you're a creative person and you've been maybe openly a creative person for a lot of your life, especially in school, you've probably been asked this question a lot of times, like way more times than you can count. And it's definitely something I've been asked in my life, and so I thought it was an interesting topic to go over with you guys. And basically, my answer is my life. My life inspires me. Uh, this could be different things. This can be just something that happens. This can be maybe something a little bit deeper, like my own thoughts, my own fears, anxieties, whatever. And my imagination, I guess, is another thing. But it's basically just my life. As much as I like, say, a pretty picture, I love social commentary, and that's just a part of who I am. I have a background in social work, and I like those sorts of things. I like something with a little bit of a deeper meaning. Although there's nothing wrong with a pretty picture, I make pretty pictures all the time. So that's basically kind of what inspires me. Aside from that, I like to play with different things. So I really like the idea of things that play off of each other, that have like an interesting play on each other. There's no really other way for me to say it, I guess. Or opposites. So I like things like new and old, or guilty and innocence, silly and gore, or cute and horror, or something like that. Like things along those lines that I find have an interesting connection. And you'll notice that probably maybe in some of my Inktober stuff that I have posted on here. I do a wide variety of stuff, and I like to play with stuff. You know, I'm still fairly young. I guess I don't have like a specific style that I go for, but I am a huge horror fan, like the horror genre in general, so that sneaks itself in every now and then, and it kind of always has. So that's what inspires me. Um, so, what can you do to inspire yourself? Well, there are a million different things. It's not something that you can just make happen. You can't force it. You can't just say, I'm going to be inspired today, and it's going to happen. It doesn't always work that way. So, you have to just wait for it. All right, so what is a creative block? Well, I'm sure you've heard the expression writer's block or an artist block, and it's exactly the same thing. So it's kind of that point in your life where you just have nothing. Just there's no inspiration, there's nothing to give in that sense. Even if you do have a couple of ideas, you just can't quite get them out. Nothing is turning out right. Um, it just feels weird. Sometimes you can just blank kind of fogginess that just doesn't allow the creativity to flow through. And it's a strange event, and it's not a lot of fun. And I can speak from experience. While I was in art school, pretty much the entire time I was there, for the 2 years I was there, I was having this problem. Not only that, it's happened numerous times in my life, and it'll continue to happen. Surprisingly, or not surprisingly, but ironically enough, it's happening now. And I think it's kind of funny that I was making this video and it just happened to be happening, but I've had this video planned forever. So yeah, I really, really, really wanted to get a Valentine's Day speed art out because it's the 1 year anniversary of my channel, and the very first video I put out on this channel was a Valentine's inspired speed art, or time lapse drawing, painting. It was a mixed media thing. And if you want to see that, I'll leave an iCard here or something for you. And yeah, so I really, really wanted to get something out, and it just didn't happen. I couldn't. There was nothing there was just nothing. And it was so frustrating because I wanted to do this so badly, and it didn't get done because I had nothing. So so there's that. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to work through it, or how to kind of get through it. And there are two ways that I have found that seem to be, I guess, pretty universal ways of doing this. And at least anytime I've talked to somebody about it, or I've heard somebody talk about it, they definitely mention both of these things. But I'm going to get into them a little bit. The first one is really self-explanatory, and there's not a whole lot to it. The first way is to just leave it. Just don't do it. Don't try to push through it. Just, leave it. And just before we move on to the second one, I'm going to say maybe take a step back and try to figure out why this is happening. If there's a cause, maybe something is going on in your life, or you're just really stressed out, or if there's something that can be done about it, well, then try to do it. Otherwise, you can try both of these things and see if it helps you. And the second option for you, at least in my opinion, would be to push through it, to keep going. And there are many, many, many different ways you can try to do this. I'm going to give you a few of them, but I'm also going to talk about it a whole lot more and even give you some printouts and stuff like that on my blog, and that's letitiapfinder.com. And I will leave a link in the description box below to the actual blog post so you can go and have fun with that. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about, we'll do 3 ways in this video, and then I'll have some more in the blog post, how you can try to push through your creative block. And the first way I'm going to talk about is actually 2 activities that I was taught, I guess, in high school and by my art teachers. And these weren't suggestions from them to get rid of a creative block. They were just activities that they suggested we do, or that it was a homework assignment. Anyways, the first one is to take a piece of paper, or you could even do it with paint and a canvas, or whatever you want. You can have a sketchbook just dedicated to this, and you take a pencil or a pen or whatever, and close your eyes, or just look away and scribble. And this can be a huge scribble, a little scribble, or whatever scribble, it doesn't matter, you can mix it up. And then you look at that scribble, and you figure out what you see. And from that, you create a drawing out of that scribble. And you could use that as a jumping off point. Maybe you really like what you did, or it inspired you, and you could do a bigger, better, more finalized piece, or whatever. It's something to keep you going. It's something to maybe not totally inspire you, but to keep the artistic fun going. So that's one activity you can do. Another one is actually a really interesting one. I really like this one. And this was a homework assignment I actually had in, I think it was grade 10, so about 10 years ago now, which is like crazy to me. Anyways, so it's just taking words, and generally nouns are probably your best bet. And I will have some of these in the blog post. But you have some words, and you can type them up or write them out or whatever you want, and then you cut them out like into strips of paper, fold them up and put them in like a bucket or a hat or bowl, whatever. And you just, when you're needing a little bit of help in the creative department, you just pick some out. And I would suggest doing between 1 and 3. And the assignment I did in school was 3, and for some people it was really tricky because they got some really odd words, but I had fun with mine. Mine went together in my head. I found a good connection. But yeah, I mean, 1 would be fine. You could just try to come up with something based on that 1 word or whatever. It's just a really interesting thing to do. I'll put a picture in here somewhere of mine from grade 10. I still have the picture. My words were hostilities, label, and imprisonment. And the only other stipulation to the assignment was that it had to include architecture. And so you had a reference picture and you had to incorporate that. I just had this beautiful church, and it was an interesting thing for me to do. And mind you, the picture is like really old now. It's not that great or anything. It's just, it was done on illustration board with like an ink wash. So yeah, but I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was a really cool assignments. Definitely played into that teen angsty stuff, so that was interesting. Anyways, so the second tip or idea I'll give you to push through a creative block is to go out and do something new. And this could be anything. You can grab your friends and go to a new park or go do something. It doesn't have to be anything exotic or cost a lot or anything like that. Uh, if I live in a big city and there's so much of the city I haven't seen, there's so much always going on. You could go do something like that. Like there's a park you haven't seen or a new restaurant that's opened. You can go to a museum or a new movie or anything. Just get out and have some new experiences, see some new things. And it doesn't hurt to bring your camera along. I have my phone everywhere I go, so that's what I use for my camera. And you'll be surprised what you can find. And it doesn't hurt to have a camera on hand almost always because you never know when you're going to find something interesting that you might want to use as inspiration or a reference later. As an artist, finding reference pictures can be hard. Um, Having your own reference library is really helpful. And actually, a few weeks ago, I think, I'm not sure exactly when I put it up, but I put up a time lapse or time lapse painting of birds, and I think I called it Birds on the Line. And that was actually inspired by a picture I took. And it's kind of funny because I was just walking down the street like I do almost every day with my son. We pass by that corner all the time. We were just going to the grocery store. And there was just all of these pigeons just on like I don't know if they're telephone wires, whatever they are. And there's so many of them. And it was just so funny. And almost everywhere we looked, there was birds everywhere. It was just so weird that day. There were so many birds. And maybe it's because my son has been like really interested in birds or was getting really interested in them then. He had just learned the word, and my balcony is right there. They go and they fly onto our balcony all the time, so he's always running up there telling me about the birds, and maybe that's kind of what sparked the interest for me in them. I'm not sure, but it was just really interesting. So I snapped a picture, and I'll put the picture in here somewhere as well so you can see the reference picture I used. Um, yeah, and I was inspired. Just one night, I was like, you know what? I really liked that picture I took. I'm gonna use it, and I did, and it was great. So stuff like that, you never know when that's gonna pop up for you, even if it's not something you feel super inspired about now, but it's interesting to look at, or it's something that you've been meaning to maybe get better at drawing. There's like a really interesting plant or something like that. It's good to have. And the third one I'm gonna point out in this video is just to carry a sketchbook, or I guess if you're a writer, like a notebook and a pen or a pencil or whatever, everywhere you go. I know it's kind of a funny one, but bear with me here. I say this because you never know when inspiration is going to strike. And it's really helpful to be able to take notes or just do a quick little doodle or sketch or something like that. One thing I've always found, it's a little creepy, but maybe a little bit, but it's interesting, is to kind of people watch. And I don't get to do it so much anymore with my son, but you could go to like a park or like a restaurant or like a coffee shop or something like that, somewhere where you can sit around for a little bit, and you never know what kind of interesting people you're going to see. I mean, life is going to be happening all around you, and you'll see so many different interesting faces and people and things going on. There's going to be something that you're going to want to capture. And it's a great way to build up like a people reference library, or like just kind of get a feel for different kinds of people to put into your work. So, there might be a really interesting couple sitting in the corner, or maybe you have an interesting idea for a drawing or an illustration or something, just seeing that couple, or maybe you're a writer and they're having a really interesting conversation, or something like that can really inspire you. Maybe you see somebody walking down the street and they have a really funny walk or a really interesting way that they walk or carry themselves. That's something that could easily be put into a drawing, or something somebody could easily write about. Maybe you have an idea for a story or a graphic novel or whatever, and you've been wanting to do it, or you've been wanting to describe this person or draw this person that you have in your head, but you haven't been able to quite figure them out. Maybe you'll see somebody that fits that description, or that'll just click for you, and that'll just be what you were looking for. And you just never know. And it's always fun to practice and see people that look all different kinds of ways and from all different walks of life. It's just a really great way to practice or get some inspiration, hopefully. It at least keeps you going. So that's kind of the theme here. You need to just keep it going, and eventually it'll happen. Something will happen. Something will just click for you. That light bulb will go off. You'll be inspired. And those are my tips for that. It really doesn't ever hurt to have your own reference pictures or your own reference doodles or whatever. So that's why I decided to include those in here. I hope you guys like these types of videos. I really enjoyed making it for you. It's a really interesting subject for me. I want to know how you guys get inspired, though. Let me know in the comments below what you do. What inspires you? How do you push through it? Let me know. Don't forget to check the blog, because I will have a whole bunch more information there for you, and I'll just continue the discussion there. I don't want this video to be too long because it's getting a little long already. Alright, so I hope you guys like this video. I really enjoyed making it, and if you have any suggestions for any other videos like this, anything you want me to talk about, you can let me know in the description or the comment box below, and I can see what I can do for you guys. If you like this video, you can go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You can share it because that helps me out. Maybe it'll help other people that normally wouldn't see one of these videos too, so that'll be nice of you. And you can go ahead and click that subscribe button down below if you're not already subscribed, because it'll notify you whenever I post a new video. And hope you guys have a lovely day. It's been snowing all day here, so it's kind of crazy to me. I thought we were done with the snow, but oh well. Until next time.